Hi, everybody. This is Tracia Bolin with Worthy Runway to Life. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with Lilchy Huffman, Ms. Senior Virginia America. And that's 20, did you say 2020?
19 and 20.
19 and 20. So we
Yes.
have a celebrity in the house today, and she has come to share with us her story and a little bit about her life. And she just got an incredible, I mean, just there's so many interesting things about her that I have just saw, and I just want her to expand on them so much. I mean, one of the first things I saw when I was looking over here is that you are a 12th generation Virginian.
Yes.
Um,
My ancestors came to Jamestown in 1610 on my mother's side of the family. And on my father's side, they came to Germanna Ford, which is right outside of Fredericksburg, in 1705 with Lieutenant Governor Spotswood and the Golden Horde.
Wow, that is incredible. You have
So
so much
they,
rich Virginia history already in
yes,
you.
yes, I do. So my ancestors were very influential in the making of Virginia and of the colonies. They all lived during the colonial period, but then were instrumental in asking the British to go home very nicely.
Oh, wow, that is
After the
incredible.
Revolution, they all fought in the Revolution and the Civil War, the War of 1812. They were all involved.
And you are a fourth cousin of President Zachary Taylor?
Yes, on my father's side of the family, my great 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 grandmother is Anne Littleton Taylor Huffman, and she was Zachary Taylor's aunt.
Wow, that is incredible. And First Lady Edith
Wilson.
Wilson. Okay, that's where that comes in.
Yes.
Wow, that is incredible. Just I mean, you just have so much rich history in here. It's interesting. And it says that the fifth, my fifth was the ship coming in on Tacoma, Washington. Well, I was actually I was born in Tacoma, Washington.
You
Tacoma, Washington.
were.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
interesting. So, yeah, on the West Coast. I was actually born on the West Coast,
Uh-huh.
even though I grew up on the East Coast. But
Yeah.
um, that's interesting. I think when you told me something about that one time long ago, and we have met through the pageant world, through
Yes.
pageantry. I always see you out there, and you're always encouraging everybody around you. You just have such a beautiful spirit, the way you just want to encourage everybody. And I see you always there, just encouraging all the young girls. And then when I met you, you're always like, I want to make sure everybody gets a little crown pin. And I remember you
Yes.
passing them out to everybody they were. And I think you gave them out to everybody, but I was judging a pageant the one day I saw you, and you're like,
I gave them
yeah,
to the winners,
yeah.
to the girls that received a new crown and sash. And
Oh,
I gave them the crown pin for their new sash.
that is so, it was so thoughtful of you. And then I remember you told me, I think I was judging a pageant that day, and then you're
Yes.
like, Tracia, give me your address. I'm gonna make sure that you get a crown, because you saw I had my crown
Right.
banner on. And just because you're so thoughtful of me, and you were so sweet, you're like, just I wanted to you wanted to send me a pin. And I still have that, by the way. I have that crown that you sent me on my banner for Mrs.
Oh,
Universe.
good.
So I appreciate that so
Good.
much.
Well, we actually met the first time was at Reflections at
Yes, that's
that
right.
event that Joy had for the reigning national queens.
That is
Back
right.
in October of 19, I had just literally that afternoon gotten back from Atlantic City, where I was competing in the Miss Senior America pageant
I remember meeting you
2019.
then. Oh, I
Yeah,
was, yeah, I remember meeting you, and we got to all walk and wear the dresses there for the reflection.
yes, yes,
That was
yeah,
very exciting. Yeah,
yes,
we
that
had a lot of
was.
fun with that, didn't we?
We did, Tracia. That was a delightful, delightful day. And that's where I first started meeting the little girls from the pageant world that had been foreign to me. And in November, I was supposed to do a parade in Roanoke, but I couldn't find a convertible. So I canceled, and I wasn't working that day. And Kirk was having a pageant in Waynesboro.
Oh, yeah.
So I just on a lark got dressed, put on my crown and banner, and went over, and that had opened up a whole new world to me of working with these young girls and the teenagers in the young pageants over that are held so much over here in the valley.
That is wonderful. It is just it's just incredible experience being able to just see, how much, just seeing these young girls just putting their, they're finding their purpose and their reason and just going out there, and that's why I believe in pageants, is because it just helps girls come out and try to be your very best and present yourself. And you are who you are, you like, I remember when Rebecca was interviewing me back while, and she's like, you could, and I was telling her, she was asking me about, like, when I was competing, she's like, you could be the perfect peach, but if they're looking for a pear, what are you going to do, but you gave your
Yes,
best.
yes.
You feel like you did your best and you should be proud of yourself.
Well, I agree. And I love the confidence and the poise that these young ladies are developing
Yes.
through this pageant system. And the that to watch a 3-year-old come out and walk the stage by herself without her mother
Oh
there
yeah.
helping her is quite phenomenal to me, that she has enough confidence in herself and enough poise to be able to do that
That
and
is
to
incredible.
carry the crown and the sash and do the community service projects and all.
It's
That's
just adorable. I know.
it
Like,
is. It
and it's
is.
hard. And honestly, even as a judge on the other side of the table, it's hard when you come out and you see all these beautiful babies. All
Yes.
babies are beautiful,
Yes,
like,
they are. And all
they're
these
all
little
beautiful.
girls, yes, they are. I have
And
to
even all the
agree
girls,
with you.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard, other than who's happy that day, like who
Yes.
happens to be happy, had a good nap that day,
Yes, exactly.
so
Exactly.
so
But
yeah.
I've always worked with children. I'm a retired teacher, and it's always been my pleasure to work with and help children as for 33 years that I was a teacher. And
Yeah.
I was a home economics teacher, which was very is still very good in Virginia. Um, but I retired 22 years ago, which is hard to believe that it's been that long. But I have always loved working with young people and with children. So it just kind of fell in for me. I have found my niche in the pageant world.
It's a wonderful way to give back in such a positive way, and to help others grow and just shine their light and make them feel beautiful and just
Yeah.
confident, and encourage other women. That's what we're supposed to do,
Yes,
us women. And there's even scripture about that, how the older and the younger women helping each other in different ways, we balance
exactly.
each other out.
And bridging that generation gap.
It's true, we need each other,
And
we do.
we do, Tricia. And not only am I working with the younger girls, but I'm also finding with their mothers as well. And the comments I'm getting back from the mothers um, of the work I'm doing with their daughters, it's just, what can I say? I just have found my niche and I love it. Senior America has always worked with seniors in the nursing homes and at the senior centers and so forth. But with COVID-19, that came to a screeching halt because we couldn't get to the senior centers.
Oh yeah.
They were all closed and the nursing homes were all shut. So, as far as our going in and visiting and doing programs with them, that closed. But that door closed, the door to the pageants opened. And
Hmm.
I, working with Esmeralda Ibarra Hedrick, who is Miss Senior America 2019-2020, um, her vision too was for us to work with the younger girls and to bridge that generation gap. So
It's
I've just
important, I
opened
think.
a whole, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
We're touching the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
Yeah.
as important as you as a judge, because I've been there judging to write the comments
Yeah.
and the encouraging comments and the constructive criticism comments to help these young girls do better and to
Yes.
improve themselves. So, whether you're a judge or whether you're there on the sidelines as a cheerleader for them, it's all very important that adult women be involved with these young girls in a positive role.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think that that pageantry is going to be changing in the future with the way that things are now?
Well, I know Senior America this year will be virtual.
Mm-hmm.
They have not been able to find, the hotels will not do the big conventions and the big gathering of groups. So it has been announced that Senior America will be a virtual pageant. Uh, Virginia, I believe, is working on that. Is and a decision I don't think has been made yet as to what kind of pageant we're going to be having. Uh, but people can still, keep abreast of that on the Virginia Senior America Facebook page.
Yes.
Um, but I think that the pageant world is going to be changing in terms of the big nationwide pageants. I think are going to be going virtual. They're not going to be able to have the audiences that they've had in the past, and
Right.
financially, they're not going to be able to survive.
Yeah, I noticed that even with a lot of the other pageants, a lot of them were virtual. You walk in your
Mhm.
evening gown virtually, you
Exactly.
record yourself with your bathing suit and your evening gown. You
Right.
even interview, you have your panel in front of you and just
Like
answer the questions almost just like what we're doing.
like we're doing, yeah. The Zoom
Yeah,
interviews.
yeah, that's kind of
So,
how it's going with way it is now.
and so many meetings, people are used to Zoom now because so many meetings are held by Zoom and work
Mhm.
environment and everything. So I think there are going to be major changes coming.
Yeah, I think so too. But sometimes change is good. Sometimes that helps us expand and grow in new ways that we never thought about before.
Exactly.
In a lot of ways that maybe helps us connect in a different way. But we need to be
Yeah,
together. I do think I really enjoy seeing all the sister queens and us do when we do get together. We actually almost appreciate it more sometimes, right?
I agree. We have not had a pageant here since November, and
Hmm.
I miss seeing the girls and this and just the interaction with them and talking with them. It's one thing to see them on Facebook, but it's another thing to actually see them in person.
With your pageant that you have right here, do you get to see the other queens from the other states at all? Do you guys still communicate via Zoom or anything? Or
Not via Zoom. We just
Hmm.
communicate via Facebook and
Oh,
the good old telephone. I
yeah.
pick up and call some of my friends that I made in Atlantic City. There's several in particular that I keep in touch with, and we talk back and forth on the phone,
Yeah, I think
which
it's
is a
so.
nice thing too, to that the phone is coming back in, and cards and notes, and that's coming back too. People are communicating more through the mail.
I think one of the important things is that we do reach out to others around us because sometimes people do feel isolated in this time
Yes,
when they feel alone. So we do need to take time to reach out to each other. And I think that's why we've created this community, like even with Worthy, through the fashion and beauty community, that we can
right.
reach out to each other and just we're in this together, like, and we
Yes.
can talk about things and just be there for one another in this industry. And sometimes when people lose hope, we just need to give words of encouragement. Do you have any words of encouragement to somebody who might be losing hope in our industry that might think that they might feel alone or isolated or
Well, they're anything but alone and isolated. I love the sisterhood that has come about through the pageantry. I would have never met you. I would have never met Rhonda Hattie Shell. I would have never met some of the other incredible women had it not been for the pageant system, and incredible women across the United States that I met in Atlantic
yes.
City. Um, and the accomplishments of some of these women is just absolutely phenomenal. There
It
are two
is.
ladies in particular that live in Sun City, Arizona, that are both 81, that
Oh,
are still just as spry and active as you and I are. And I think sometimes they can run circles around me, which is not saying much, but um, it's just phenomenal how they have impacted my life, and they tell me I've impacted theirs. The activities that I've been doing and posting, one of my sister queens who was we were in the same dressing room together. She's had a transplant, so she is virtually quarantined and has been for almost a year.
oh,
And she says, I'm living through vicariously through your activities. And I love all the posting and everything that you have done.
oh, wow.
And love Daisy's heart. She's in Mississippi, but we talk on the phone every now and then. We communicate via Facebook, and it's just a wonderful system. Don't give up hope. If you are feeling forlorn, reach out to one of your sister queens, because
Absolutely.
we're all in there together, but some of us, are able to be more active than others.
Yeah, and that's true. And I think even just having something fun to talk about in the fashion and beauty world, just
Right.
to get your mind off things that might make you sad or make you feel down. Like the other day, I did a fashion post about, some silly, like sometimes people like that white, when I was talking about, like, do we still wear white from long ago? Like white
Right. Well,
shoes? Like, do we still wear white shoes in
but
February?
you
And I know
you
you
had
called,
that today. And
and
what did I say?
you said that no, no, Trace, you're probably not supposed to wear that until like
Well, the,
after spring or something. So, but
I think the boots are okay because it's all closed, but
yeah.
white shoes in February in the wintertime, just to me, they just don't cut it. But then I'm very old school.
But it's
Um,
all fun though. I mean, like sometimes
right,
people wear what they want to wear, but but it is a funny thing like that, that people had a different, notions that this is something that they've always been told. Like,
right.
I remember when I was younger, grew up like, no, you don't wear the white pumps before the spring and stuff like that. So
Before Memorial
yeah,
Day, and
Memorial
not
Day.
after
Yeah.
Labor Day.
Yeah, but it was funny and everybody kind of caught up about that. And it was, something that, everybody's had a little laugh about. So I think things like that, when we get our mind off of things that aren't so serious about all the time, sometimes that we could just, and I think fashion and beauty does that, picks our
Right.
creativity and puts us on something else. And I know you're so creative. I saw some of the things that you've been making, and some things that you do like that. Share with us about some of the things that you do like
Well,
that.
I made the sock dolls, the queen sock dolls,
Yes.
and it was kind of a lark. Two of the girls did a community service project of Socket to Childhood Cancer
Oh yeah.
back in September. And they had a contest to take an old sock and make a sock doll to sock it to childhood cancer.
Yeah, that was
And to enter the contest, you had to give a $10 donation. So I'm in Walmart one day and I see these purple anklet socks with silver stars on them. And I'm thinking, that's a queen. And I took that sock and I stuffed it, and I started with some tulle and made a skirt. And I had some sequined ribbon that I had gotten at the dollar store that I cut to put a band of sequins around the top of the tulle for her skirt for the
Oh yeah,
band.
they are adorable.
And I made the cancer ribbon sign out of the sequins to put on to socket to childhood cancer. I got little rhinestone buttons for the eyes. And then I got a hot pink, purple, and silver curling ribbon to
Wow.
make the hair. And I found at Walmart headbands that had a party hat on the top with a crown on the party hat and fur around it.
So
So
creative.
that
Yeah.
I cut the headband portion off, I glued that on, and I had a sock doll. Well, in October, and I entered it into the contest. And in October, we had a benefit pageant here in Stanton to help the victims from the flash floods that we had
Oh,
in our Old Town area in August. We had two flash floods 2 weeks apart. And it went through the same area both times and did quite a $4 or $5 million worth of damage to our historic Old Town. So we had a benefit pageant and I made 11, 12 sock dolls. And um, I sold them for donation. And all the money went to the charity, to the proceeds for the benefit. And that started it. And they were so popular that for the America's Ultimate Miss National pageant, I made another whole raft of the sock dolls. I still have some of them left, but all of that money, when I finish selling them, all of that money will go to the Women's Center here in Stanton.
wow, that is incredible. What a
But
blessing that is.
you know, I was a home economics teacher. I love to sew. I love to create. And so I just started creating. And the more I created, the more elaborate these dolls got. And the more fun I had doing it. And instead of the cancer sign, I took the sequins and ran a sash around the top of the sock and the doll. And, you
Is
know,
that your platform? Was that what you were working with your platform?
no, I think my platform is just to expand the role of seniors and that we are still very viable, active women, that we're not sitting on the front porch in the rocking chair with a shawl around us, but we're still doing things. I'm very proud to say I'm 74 years old, 74 years young, change that.
That's right.
And I don't feel 74 and I know I don't look 74, but I'm still very proud. I work part-time and I'm still very proud that I am still as active and doing and as young in my thinking as I am.
That is incredible. And thank you so much for sharing all the incredible things that you've been doing in our community, and all your background in Virginia is amazing,
So
and we're so proud for you to represent Mrs. Senior Virginia America.
thank you.
That is
Thank
just
you.
incredible. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, can they have are you on Facebook, Instagram?
I I am on Facebook and I'm there both as Lilchy Huffman. And I'm also there on the Miss Virginia Senior America, sanctioned by Senior America Facebook page.
Okay.
And where they can also gain information about Senior America. They can read my bio. Um, you mentioned that I had my 5th birthday on the ship. We were coming home from Japan. My father was a career Air Force officer.
Oh,
So the first 14 years of my life, I was an Air Force brat.
oh,
And I've lived not only here in Virginia, but I all but 11 years of my life I've lived in Virginia. But I've also lived in Montgomery, Alabama, Tacoma, Washington, Dover, Delaware, Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, Guam, Japan, 2 times in Japan. And then as an adult, I taught in the overseas dependent school system for 2 years, and I lived in Bamberg, Germany. So
wow.
I bring all of that experience along with me, whether it's a good baggage or not, but it has served me well in the years. When I moved to Stanton 16 years ago, I knew not one person, but I loved living in the valley from when I was in college. And I came back to the valley and I moved here, but I knew no one. And
Now you know a lot of people.
now I know a lot of people. Yes, yeah, I do, and it's a wonderful thing.
Well, you've touched a lot of lives, and I can tell you've made a great difference with the people that you have touched, and that is just a wonderful thing. And that's what makes a difference in life, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. And I think your attitude, your philosophy of life, and that's one of the things with Senior America, we're required to give our philosophy of life,
Do
of
you have
life.
a, I want to ask you, do you have a favorite, do you have a favorite quote or scripture that you could share with us? I just wanted to ask if you do. Do you have something that is very like your favorite that you just maybe is important to you?
I'm a very firm believer in the master plan, and I feel what will be. And if it's intended to be, it will be.
Hmm.
And if it's not, there is some reason why I was prevented from doing.
Hmm.
And I look at life. I've had two very close near death experiences. And both times, first time, the doctors flat out said, you should not be here. Very few people survive what you just went through, and you should not be here. And I came to the realization my work here is not finished, and it's not time for me to go home yet.
Hmm.
And so I continue doing, and I know how my life has changed in the past 8 years. And that it is a result of that. I know my work's not finished, and I'm still what will be, and the master plan.
Hmm. Very good. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it very much. And thank you
Oh,
for coming on Worthy today. It's been incredible. I just love hearing all your stories and all the things you've been to.
oh well, thank you very much. I've loved being able to do this and to talk with you this afternoon. And to me, it's been a delightful experience. And thank you for having me on with you.
Absolutely. It's been a joy for me also. And I really appreciate it. And thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You have a good rest of the evening, and I look forward to seeing you sometime, my sister queen.
Yes, absolutely. We will see each other soon.
Yes,
Thank you again for joining us on Worthy and telling us your incredibly story. Thank you, Lil.
thanks. Uh-huh.
Appreciate it very
Good
much.
night.
Bye bye.